Corporation. Ms. Huerta, will you call the roll?
President Alan Wilson.
Here.
Vice President Diana Summers, she's absent. Secretary Jesus Jimenez.
Here.
Mark LaRue.
Present.
Victoria Holland.
Here.
Can we see Ms. Holland also, please?
Yes. Sorry, y'all.
If I can get the camera to show you. There you are. Awesome. Thank you. Johnny Filippello.
Here.
Vishnu Reddy is absent. Okay, so we do have a quorum present to conduct the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Huerta. Would anyone like to make public comment? Ms. Huerta, have you received any?
No, sir.
Next up, consideration of the minutes. Are there any corrections? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Okay.
I was gonna second, but yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I did notice on the past minutes that I had an absence.
Yes, sir. That's what I was going to say. Does anyone have a request to excuse an absence?
Yeah, I was gonna say I know we had two meetings in between that. We had the special meeting which I was in, and the previous meeting. I think for the meeting I was in Del Rio.
Yeah. So the June 26 absences are Mark, JJ, and Diana Summers.
Yes, and Ms. Summers did submit a written request asking that her absence be excused.
Yeah, if I may, I know I think I sent you an email on, but if I may, I request to be excused for the day I was out in Del Rio.
Same traveling.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to excuse those absences
Yes, for June 26th.
for June 26th.
I'd like to do, can we do the excuse the absences first, and then that way they're included in the minutes? That would make sense.
So is there a motion?
May I also request an excuse? I believe I missed the special meeting.
So for the special meeting, Ms. Holland, that doesn't count towards attendance. It's only regular meetings.
Well, then I just hope everyone will accept my sincere apologies at being otherwise occupied at that time.
Yes, you were.
I think motherhood trumps type B.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the absences of two board members.
Excuse.
So it's LaRue, Jimenez, and Summers, actually, also.
Oh, all three? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. All three board members.
Can I second?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Did we not approve the minutes?
No, we didn't. We were almost there.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Financial report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sergio Villasana, Director of Finance and Procurement here. Included in your agenda packet are the unaudited financial statements as of May 31st, 2025. I have a brief presentation here which covers your budget to actuals, schedule of commitments and funds available for future commitments. Starting with your first fund, the Corpus Christi B Corporation, accounting purposes, has three different funds, which is the Economic Development Fund, the Housing Fund, and the Streets and Arterial Fund. So we'll start here with the Economic Development Fund. For going to your amended budget column, jumping down to your total revenues row, a total of $4.9 million was budgeted in fiscal year 2025. As of May 31st, a total of $3.3 million has been collected. This leaves about $1.5 million pending to be earned. Moving on over to total expenditures, the row of total expenditures for your amended budget amount to $16.1 million. Actuals year to date as of May 31st amount to $7.4 million. This leaves about $8.7 million pending to be spent. And jumping to the last row on the spreadsheet here, your ending fund balance on a budget basis is expected to be about $3.4 million for the fiscal year. As of May 31st, your total fund balance is $10.6 million. The next slide is a schedule, a 5-year forecast of funds available for commitments. If we start here in your beginning fund balance column for fiscal year 2025, that 10.6 represents your ending fund balance as of May 31st. We have about 1.5 million of revenues pending to be collected. We anticipate future incentives to be paid off about 2.9. We do have administration and other expenditures of 1.6 million, leaving an estimated funds available for commitments of about 7.5. Moving on to 26 through 2029, we do keep our revenue forecast flat. Our future incentives are from 3.9 down to 400,000, which will be detailed in the upcoming slides. Administration and other expenditures go from 4 million to about 471,000 here. What we can see in your last column there, your fund balance, balance available for commitments grows from about 4.3, 8.2, with an expectation to be at 16.9. Of course, this will fluctuate depending on what budget commitments are made here in the future. Here we have your major business incentives and small business contract commitments as of May 31st. Over the next 6 years, you're looking at about roughly 8.5 million. Just highlighting a couple of large ones here is 1.8 for Next Sports Company, LLC, and 2 million for Hilton Homewood Suites, and about 3.2 million are for small business contracts. And this slide here just shows the cost of your administration and other expenditures. Over the next 6 years, you get about 2.6 million that's committed to those, with CCRDC commitment of about 1.8, the administration services, which is the transfer to the city of 615,000. You have operating expenditures of about 154,000, and type B incentives placeholder there of about 89,000. The next fund we have is your housing fund for the fiscal year. Looking at your amended budget column, total revenues are budgeted at 747,000. Actuals as of May 31st amount to 772,000. You're ahead of budget for the year already at 24,000, which is mostly due to earnings on investments. Moving down to total expenditures, a total of 2.7 million has been budgeted for the fiscal year. Expenditures as of May 31st amount to 39,936. This leaves about 2.7 million funds pending to be spent. Overall, jumping down to your ending fund balance last row, we anticipated the fund balance to end the fiscal year at 915,000. You're currently as of May at 3.6 million. The housing fund, funds available for commitments. Here we show about 1.1 committed for future incentives, which we'll see in the next slide. But we do keep basically our revenue flat at 563,000, which is your 500,000 and some interest earned for this fund. And we have a straight line of administrative services cost of about 70,000. And we'll see here the trend of your funds available for commitments growing from about 2.4 at the end of fiscal year 25 to about 4.4 ending fiscal year 2029. Here's the commitment for the Affordable Housing Fund. A total of 1.1 has been committed to Palms at Morris. And then this is just a schedule, the straight line for our administration services of about 70,000 per year, which is a transfer over to the city. The last one you have is a Streets, Arterial, and Collector Fund. A total of 4 million was budgeted for the year as for revenues. As of May 31st, 2.5 million has been collected, leaving about 1.4 million pending to be earned. Expenditures budgeted are about 4 million. As of May 31st, we've expensed about 48,000, leaving about 4 million pending to be spent. This is largely due to the transfer not being transferred from the Street, Arterial, and Collector Fund to the Streets Capital Improvement Fund. Overall, any funds that come into this fund are expected to be transferred over. This is why we're seeing a zero ending fund balance for the amended budget. Currently, as of May 31st, the budget that's reflected in the ledger is 2.5 million. And that would be cleared out as soon as we process that transfer over. For your street CIP fund, here's a listing of the streets that are included in that fund, as well as a reserve for appropriations of 274,000 overall. Total active projects amount to about 16.5 million. Expenditures as of May 31st amount to 1.8. This leaves an available fund balance of about 14.7. I'm sorry, available balance for projects, not a fund balance, but available balance of 14.7. This slide here is really just a commitment to show that funds that are collected and are placed in this fund will be transferred over to the street CIP fund. So roughly about 4 million a year coming into that fund, $4 million going out, as well as $82,000 for administration costs. This slide here is just kind of the overall picture for the next 6 years. About $24 million is committed to improvements to streets that are arterial and collective. And this here is just a straight line of our administrative cost, about $82,000, which amounts to about $447,000 over the next 6 years. Lastly, we have the update of the sales tax revenue. Your budget as of May 31st, sales tax was budgeted at $6 million. A total of 6.1 was collected as of May 31st. Actuals are ahead of budget by about $26,000. When compared to last year's actuals for 2025 are ahead of last year by $72,000. That concludes my presentation, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
We're going to change the order of the agenda, and we're going to go to item 4 first, and then we'll go back to item 3. Item 4, public hearing and resolution authorizing an air service minimum revenue guarantee program project totaling up to $700,000 to expand Corpus Christi International Airport services and retain or create primary jobs. Is there a presentation?
Hello. How's everybody? There it is. It's good to see you all. My name is Jeremy Valgarts, and I'm the interim aviation director for the Corpus Christi International Airport. Brings me a lot of joy to be with you here today to present this project. It's a project that's been in the works for a very long time for our airport, and we're excited for it. As you know, we've been seeking additional air service for this airport for a very long time. I think the latest additional air service we got was clear back in 1997, where we got a new air carrier. So Lacey's done very good to go around with the team and try and solicit additional air service for the airport. Her and Kevin obviously retired, but I think Kevin would love to stand here and give this presentation, but he was nice enough to let me do it. We've had an airline reach out to us that would like to offer service out of Corpus Christi. So when we're looking at air service, we really look at, where do Corpus Christians want to go? What would be the best route for us? As you can see here, we applied for a small community air service development grant. It's called a SCASD grant. This SCASD grant, the intent of the SCASD grant is from the Department of Transportation is to get money to the communities to help elicit air service. And they're really looking at some of obviously the smaller communities such as Corpus. What that money is used for is it can be used for a minimum revenue guarantee. It can be used for marketing and just all things air service development. They want us to pick a destination or a location. We know that a lot of people from Corpus Christi want to get to the west. There's not a really good West Coast market out of Corpus Christi. One of our biggest challenges is being this far south in the state, the airlines don't like to overfly their hubs to get to another airport. So they're always going to stop in Houston, they're going to stop in Dallas to get to another airport. So we don't have a lot of good direct flight access out of Corpus Christi. So we're always seeking a direct flight access that would get us to the west. Denver's always been a really good route. It's really the hub for Southwest and United as far as their West Coast destinations. The SCASD is supporting the Denver route, so there we go. And we like the Denver route as well. As you can see from this slide, there's about 63,000 people per year that are flying either to the Denver market or, not flying, driving, all visitation, going to Corpus Christi. There's 63,000 people per year. So we want to be able to tap into that. A lot of them are driving because they don't like having the connection. This next slide shows, there we go. This is really our leakage. So we got 87 people per day that are either going to the Denver market or coming from the Denver market. Only 27 of those people are actually using our airport. Okay, the rest are either going to Austin, San Antonio, Houston, or some other airport. The reason for this is there is no direct flight out of here. And then the price. It gets expensive flying out of here, especially trying to get to a West Coast destination. This is more of an overall picture. Then this shows our true leakage in any given year. We're losing we have about 2.1 million passengers within our catchment area. So what we did is we took cell phone data, so we know people within this certain area of Corpus Christi, how many of those people are using air service. 2.1 million people a year within our catchment area use air service. Of that, 668,000 of them are actually using our airport. The rest of them are driving to another airport. And again, it goes to direct flight access, one-way access, and the cost of flying out of Corpus. The airline that is in discussion with us, they're what they call a low-cost carrier or an ultra-low-cost carrier. So if you look at this slide, it shows the fares. So Lacey pulled this recently, but if you're going to fly United, Southwest, or American, and this is assuming a family of 4 with 2 checked bags going to Denver, round-trip fare on United is about $2,200. Southwest is a little bit cheaper, and American's a little bit cheaper. But look at that compared to the low-cost carrier price of $888. So at that, it becomes affordable. We can fly to Denver. We can catch a Rockies game. It makes it affordable for a family of 4. And it's direct. If you got a family of 4, it's a lot easier to go one stop. So let's get into the MRG a little bit. Again, it's called the minimum revenue guarantee. What this airline is asking for is they would like to try the market. So what a minimum revenue guarantee is it allows the airline to come in with lower risk on them to test the market to see if it's something that they want to do. They're asking us for a number not to exceed $1.2 million over the 45-week period. So that's about $6,568 per departure. So that's a departure out of Denver, and that's a departure out of Corpus Christi. That number would never exceed that. So the only time we are actually going to have to pay any money out is if the airline doesn't meet their target revenue goal, then we would have to pay whatever that deficit would be. Not to exceed the $1.2 million for that term. The proposed schedule is twice weekly service. From Corpus to Denver, it'd be Thursdays and Sundays. The plane gets in at 6:30 p.m. and then it would leave at 7:30 p.m. that same day. Fits really well for the leisure market. So on Thursday, you could get up there and have a really good weekend. And then Sunday, you could come home and get back in town for the rest of your business, and vice versa, coming to Corpus from Denver. Again, this money is only paid out if they don't meet their target goal. The other thing with that is they're going to invoice quarterly. So if a lot of the flights are selling really well, and we can start to kind of bank up some of that profit. Then if some of the flights aren't doing as well, we may, at the end of the quarter, we may still be ahead and not have to pay any of the MRG. This slide kind of breaks down the MRG, so we'll kind of work backwards, but what the airline is requesting is that $1,182,326. We would love to pay the MRG as an airport, but we're not allowed to. The Federal Department of Transportation doesn't allow us to subsidize one airline over another as the airport authority. So we're seeking community participation to help with that offset. Visit Corpus Christi has agreed to $100,000, and then we have $437,000 from the federal government through the SCASD grant that I was talking about. We have to match that. 44% of those funds we have to match. So that's where the community support pledge comes from. The slide's a little confusing because we have to do 2 agreements with the airlines to make that 1.1 million. But the first, where it says total SCASD MRG funds at 787,000, that's a combination of our DOT funds. We're requesting 250,000 from the Type B Corporation and 100,000 from Visit Corpus Christi to make that 787,000. And then the additional community support, this is money beyond the SCASD grant that we as an airport can't touch, right? It's completely separate. So we're requesting another 394,000 from Type B to fund that portion. So as you can see in the resolution, we're asking for a number not to exceed the $700,000 for this portion of the MRG. Again, the intent is we don't touch it, right? It's a successful flight. So what are some of the risks? The risk of partnering with the airline is it's not successful. If it's not successful at the end of the term, they're going to know it's not successful, and they would pull the service. If it's marginally successful, they may ask for an extension of the MRG, and if it's successful, then they're going to stay. They're going to run at risk. This also opens the door for a lot of other airlines. They're going to pay attention. They're going to see how successful the flight is, and then they're going to come in and compete. So it's really priming the pump for additional air service out of Corpus Christi. And Denver's a good route also. I know a lot of people are getting stuck in Houston, stuck on airplanes. Houston's got a big problem with air traffic control tower shortages and gate access. There's not a lot of gate access in Houston. All the gates are full. Denver just opened up, I think it was 38 gates recently, significant amount of gates, so there's more access into Denver, so it's more attractive to air carriers going nonstop. Then there's just some other data on how Southwest has reduced their capacity, but there's still a demand for air travel. So the airline, they know the market. You know, we've been telling them the market. They believe in the market. We also believe in the market, and we think it's a really good opportunity, but we can't do it without some community participation. So that's where we're asking for your support in Type B funds for this program. So with that, I'll ask for any questions.
Are there any questions from the board?
I do have a question. Could we go to the slide where it talks about the minimum revenue?
Maybe. There we go. This one?
The one right before this. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
Some of the language is a little obscure to me. Could you define departure? Is that a seat, or is that a flight, or is that a round trip flight?
Good question. So that's a flight. So that would be one leg of a round trip flight. So one leg from Denver to Corpus Christi, that entire flight.
So if that flight was completely empty, we would still not exceed that $6,568 amount.
Yeah.
Which obviously, as everyone knows, you know, that doesn't even pay for fuel to lift a plane of that amount off the ground. So that's a really low limit for an entire flight.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I've actually, in my tenure in airports and airport management, this is the third MRG I've done. This is the only one that I've seen this little risk on the actual community. Most of the risk, financial risk here is on the airline. So it leads us to believe that they really believe in this route.
And so if we're looking at minimum revenue, do they define what minimum revenue looks like for them? When we were reached out previously, the term, break even was used, but I don't know if that's an accurate reflection of what the airline is looking for in terms of our commitment to them.
Yeah, also a good question. So what they're looking for is their MRG. They're looking for the amount of fuel, pilots, insurance. I mean, they're looking at the total costs, plus a little bit of level of profitability to reach that number. So that's a number they're confident that they can do and still make that flight sustainable.
Okay, so really this is a very relatively low, in terms of getting a passenger airline, in terms of getting a full flight up off the ground and back over to Corpus Christi, this is a pretty low level of cost and risk to the city in terms of our subsidizing this to see if it can work.
Yeah, it is, yeah, and especially for the type of service, because it's a reputable airline that carries 186 passengers on that aircraft. So it's a good number for us to take that risk to be able to get that into our market.
Wonderful. And I just wanted to kind of break that down in case people in the community had questions about, what this looks like. And the terms of this, that correct me if I'm wrong, but the airline, it's still taking by far the bulk of the risk here.
Yes.
Could you define what percentage of risk the airline would be taking on versus the community in this breakdown?
We don't entirely know that number, but I do know it's much higher than the level they're asking us for.
That's all I wanted to clear up and make evident. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. Mr. Filippello.
Yeah, just a comment, definitely support what you're trying to do here in getting that direct flight to Denver. I know Visit Corpus, having served on that board, has been activating and marketing in Denver I would encourage, and this is probably more a comment than a question, that if we're able to move forward with this, that since y'all are the regional airport in many ways, that we look to Port Aransas, Rockport, and really the businesses throughout this area to really promote Denver. I think there's a huge opportunity to grow our travel scene, especially in the what we call the colder fall and winter months. For them, it's a break from the cold to this area. So I commend y'all for getting it to this point. But just a thought there, if Port Aransas and some of those destination marketing organizations could help promote and make sure that ridership is successful so they continue beyond October.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I didn't mention it, but Visit Corpus Christi has also committed another $100,000 for marketing efforts, and they do already market in that area. And we also have to contribute some more funds for marketing as part of our SCASD grant. So, yeah, we will market it well, and the community needs to use the service.
Mr. LaRue, go ahead and go.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for doing this. I think it's something that the airport needed, some fresh, fresh ideas and better access to, especially for the business community, and also I'm pretty sure it's going to help bring in more tourists into Corpus, just like some would like to go to Denver. On our side, I know you said earlier on one of your on your slide that some people drive to Denver. Actually, drove to Denver for business about a year and a half ago or so, because there was no easier way to get there. So I just got in the car and drove. So I really appreciate this. This is really good, and the numbers, the statistics you showed. I mean, it shows that that it should be successful. And I agree with Ms. Holland. The risk also is a large amount has been taken by the airlines. So this is good overall. I think it's a kudos to your team for putting this together. Now the question that I had on the community support needed that we list, items 2 and 3 you're in need of 744, 747. Visit Corpus Christi is going to do 100. So the ask for type B, is that going to be 644? Or
that's what we would need. I believe the resolution says not to exceed 700,000.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you all again, and looking forward to flying to Denver soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll sign up to be one of the first ones. Thank you.
Mr. LaRue.
Just kind of wanted to echo the rest of the board's statements. Thank you to you and your team. This is a great opportunity. I think in terms of my time on Type B, one of the most important that we've considered. The only other thing I really wanted to emphasize, and you guys put it on here, but just for the people maybe watching or who might look at this later, that we're losing 70% of our air travel to other airports. I mean, that's, when I was told that number, I was blown away personally. Anyways, I just think it's good to emphasize. I wanted to thank you guys again for bringing this to us.
Thank you.
All right. I too strongly support. I don't know that I'll become a Rockies fan, but maybe when the Astros are up there, I might take a weekend.
There you go.
Are there any other questions? I'm going to open the public hearing and ask for any public comment. Is there? Then I'll close the public hearing and I'll entertain a motion to approve the item.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we see, I'm sorry, can we see Ms. Holland, please, when she votes?
I'm here.
Let me see if we can show. There you are. You vote aye, ma'am?
Yes, I vote aye.
Awesome.
All right. Item 3, motion authorizing an amendment to the approved Corpus Christi B Corporation's fiscal year 2025-26 operating budget to increase expenditures by $700,000 for the Air Service Minimum Revenue Guarantee Program project. That's a mouthful.
Good afternoon, Board. Arturo Marquez, Office of Economic Development. And this item is essentially just a formality of the item that you guys just passed, and essentially putting the $700,000 for future use. As it was described earlier, because the item won't necessarily be drawn down until after the company asks for it, it won't necessarily be under this budget, but rather the next one. So just to get us started, again, upon the approval of item number 3, which just passed, the creation of the minimum guarantee will go on into fiscal year 2026, and it'll increase expenditures by $700,000. So essentially what that would look like is that the expenditure line would go from a 7.9 expense to an 8.6, and it will reduce the ending fund balance from 4 million to 3.3 million. Where we're going to place it is in the major business incentive project line, and again, that would increase the expenses from 2.7 to 3.4, and it will increase the expenses from 7.9 to 8.6. And essentially, this is where, in the future, you will see that line item showcase in the future of both financial and budget items. So, like I said, this is just a formality, just to be able to present this new budget to the City Council.
Any questions?
This is more of a comment than a question, but I would like to express appreciation for how we moved this agenda around to have this item be after the previous item and discussion on it. It's just a beautiful when the order of events is so appropriate that way. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right. I'll entertain a motion. If there's no more questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amendment.
So moved.
Motion. Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I did want to make sure that the board knew that the airline we're talking about is still confidential, correct? Y'all be making some announcement down the road. So just want to make sure we were clear about that. Ms. Hurlbut.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Really excited about this. I mean, I think this is a wonderful use and opportunity for the Type B to be able to participate in this program. Just a reminder, kind of to build off of what you said, we will be having a special meeting next Monday to consider more items related to this. We are planning on being able to announce more details tomorrow after we walk through some of the things that City Council will be approving. So. We're very excited about this. You know, the airport staff, while Jeremy, as he said, gets to stand up here and give us the good news, there's been a lot of work by the whole team, including Kevin Smith, who just recently retired, and also Tyler Miller, who was here before. So it has been a long journey, but we're really excited about it, and hopefully we'll be able to bring more announcements in the near future.
Great.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
There being no further business, we stand adjourned. Congratulations.
Oh. Is this evening, and so we really thank the Type B board for sponsoring that, providing funding for it, and we had a very successful inauguratory run with it, and so we're really excited about it. But just wanted to let you know.